Good evening. It's good to be here. I'm kind of nervous, so bear with me. And the only reason I have a 4.0 GPA is because I haven't taken math yet. All right. I'm just saying. Like I've been introduced, my name is Adrian Touchstone. I'm a recent graduate of Lee College, and I want to thank you all for having me here to speak tonight. As a student representative of Lee College, on behalf of the Lee College Foundation, I would like to say thank you to Ms. Pam Warford also. Yeah. Thank you, Pam. It's an honor to be speaking at such an important event in support of such a worthy cause. As I look out across this room, it gives me hope, because there was times in my life that I have been hopeless. That's what I'd like to share with you tonight. I would like to give you all a glimpse into my life so that you will know just how important your role through the Lee College Foundation has been to me and many others. I'm just going to jump right into it. On October the 15th of 2014, I was released from prison after having completed 8 years and 30 days on a 14-year sentence. I had that from shoplifting from a grocery store. For those of you who know about crime and punishment, know that 14 years is not normal penalty for shoplifting from a grocery store. However, this was not my first offense. It was my 7th time in trouble for various episodes which derived from addiction to drugs and alcohol, namely cocaine. Just until a few years prior to my release from prison in 2014, I had been living my life trying to figure out how to do the wrong thing the right way. Believe me, that doesn't work. I tested it out for 20 years. From the time I was 20 to the time I was 40, I was in and out of prison. 15 of those 20 years were done within walls of some form of institutional correction facility. My life began to change when I figured out that I was the problem. I realized that I had never taken responsibility for anything in my life. I understood for the first time that I was creating all of my own problems. Before that, I thought everybody else was the problem. If everybody would just leave me alone, I would be okay. That was my mentality. I had a backwards way of thinking. I never took any responsibility for anything I did. The first major change came in my life when I started taking ownership of my situation. That's when I made the decision to start taking responsibility for everything in my life. This led me to the second major problem, which was selfishness and entitlement. I was always on the lookout for what I could get out of life. I wanted to see what I could get off of the table in any situation or relationship that I was in. And every single time I received anything from anyone, it wasn't appreciated. I left people feeling used and emotionally abused for even trying to help me. Love isn't supposed to hurt, but selfishness and entitlement hurt a lot of people who tried to love me. When I realized this, it hit me like a ton of bricks. And at that moment, I hit my knees and asked Jesus to come into my life. I didn't have any spiritual foundation at this point, but I knew there wasn't anything good in me and I needed help. From that time on, I was about 37 years old sitting in prison. I started looking at my life in a whole new way. I started really looking at myself and trying to understand how to take full responsibility for everything in my life. I also sought to bring something to the table in everything I did in life with no expectation of a payoff or reward. I began a journey of seeking meaning for my life. I started reading spiritual literature of different religions, and my philosophy was that there has to be some common element that I could glean from studying various spiritual practices and thereby gain a more complete understanding of the truth of life. My search brought me to Christianity and mainly to the teachings of Christ. I began to realize the significance of having purpose and meaning in life. I realized up to that point I never had anything meaningful to live for or any kind of direction or purpose in which to follow. That's when I made a commitment to start figuring out how to do the right thing the right way. I began to see how my past experiences shaped my life in a way that could benefit others. This insight motivated me to seek an education because I needed to give God something to work with. I don't know if it's original, but I often say, in regards to how I view life, that God can only work with what He has to work with. And it's my responsibility now to provide Him with competency to carry off into the world. I stand at this podium by the graciousness of Lee College Foundation with an associate's degree in substance abuse counseling and prevention, with purpose, meaning, with a striving towards my goals to make the world a better place by the power of God in me. This has been made possible by the generosity of all of you who donate to Lee College Foundation. I am responsible now for taking into the community that which you have provided me by way of financial support for my education. Without your commitment to this community and student support, countless individuals may not afford the chance at the most valuable experience of their lives. I am taking the liberty of speaking for all who have benefited from the Lee College Foundation by saying thank you and God bless your lives for the continuing of promoting education and supporting students in our community. Thank you.